The doctor who tried to skip the line and how we turned his ego into our biggest win. I work at a private clinic that caters to wealthy clients, the kind of place where people pay through with a nose for same-day appointments, cushy waiting rooms, and complimentary lattes. But let me tell you, the most exhausting patients aren't the rich, they're the entitled rich. Enter Dr. Lawson. He wasn't one of our doctors. He was some hotshot cosmetic surgeon in town, and apparently he thought that gave him royal status. He strutted into our lobby one afternoon with his designer shoes clicking like a metronome, sunglasses on indoors, and this smug grin plastered across his face. He didn't even bother checking in at the front desk. He just walked straight up to the reception counter and said, "Put me in the next available room. I don't wait." Now normally if a client requests priority and is willing to pay the rush fee, we make it happen. But Lawson, he didn't even ask, he demanded. And when my coworker politely told him there were 3 patients ahead of him, he leaned in and sneered, "Do you even know who I am?" Classic line. We exchanged looks behind the desk, and that's when I knew we were about to have some fun. We could have just charged him the expedited fee and moved on, but his tone, his arrogance, no, we decided to weaponize our policy. See, our clinic is strict about first come, first served, unless you pay for an official upgrade, but Lawson refused to pay. He wanted VIP treatment for free. So we checked him in at the very bottom of the queue, technically still within policy since he hadn't specified a time. Then we politely asked him to take a seat. For the next 2 hours he stewed in the waiting room, sighing dramatically, crossing and uncrossing his legs, muttering into his phone loud enough for everyone to hear. He even tried to casually flash his Rolex at us while tapping the counter. Still, we kept calling patients one by one, while Dr. Lawson sat there fuming. Finally, when it was his turn, we brought him back, but not to the luxurious corner suite we normally give VIPs. No, we stuck him in the overflow exam room, the one with flickering fluorescent lights and a chair that squeaks like a dying mouse. He looked around and snapped, "This is unacceptable. I demand the premium room." And that's when my Meyer leaned in and said the most satisfying line I've ever heard. "Premium rooms are for premium patients who pay for premium service." You didn't. The man was livid. His face went redder than a tomato under a heat lamp. He muttered about taking his business elsewhere and stormed out, slamming the door so hard the squeaky chair toppled over. Here's the kicker. A week later, a new patient came in, someone who had left Lawson's cosmetic practice. Guess what? Because Lawson kept them waiting for nearly 3 hours past their appointment time. The irony couldn't have been sweeter. So yeah, Lawson wanted to skip the line, but instead we turned him into the punchline. And now, every time someone tries the "do you know who I am" routine, we just smile. Because yes, we do, and we know exactly where to put you in line.